And welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast. Thomas Miller with you, back on another beginning a week a day late, Tuesday, October 22nd. The big question everybody's asking around here is, are you okay from the tornado? Well, yeah, but that's kind of why I didn't get the podcast up yesterday. Storm hit Sunday evening, and I'll tell you what, friends, family, a lot of people living in the zone of the tornado, and it just was like consuming. That was it. And stayed up really late, so wasn't up early to get launched. So I apologize. I'll take worst tornado in 50 years, I think is what they said, in Dallas. So, teacher, I have a note. All right, let's kick this off by looking at kind of a big picture for the week. So, first of all, the moon is in Leo. It moved in yesterday morning, and I was really glad to see it move out of Cancer. I'll tell you that every time the moon has gone through Cancer, even this summer when it was going through, and that's when the personal planets, the Sun, Mars, Mercury, Venus, were all in there, packed in, and the moon dropped in. Oh, boy, that was tough on everybody. But even when it came around this time, I noticed a shift. I observed. I just had my eyes open and I observed. Let's just put it that way. But it's now in a fire sign, so the next couple of days ought to have some extra kick and zip and that personal put yourself out there, throw your shoulders back, chin up, and you are a Leo for the next 2 days. Go out and roar. Now, what is significant that is in Cancer is the North Node. That's not insignificant because, as we've been saying, part of the big three is the South Node in Capricorn. That Capricorn-Cancer node axis is a big deal. I think I mentioned it's happened 3 times basically in most of our lifetimes. First time JFK was assassinated. Second time was the beginning of the oil crash in the 1980s. And the third time was 9/11. And, you know, I really am being sensitive and careful not to be talking gloom and doom here. How do you handle tough alignments, right? It's like you want to be judicious to what's in the chart, and you want to always bring out that there is polarity in the chart. So yes, we have historic precedents of some of these formations that are not with, let's say, other astrological formations. And yes, when these things come around over only so often, but Pluto makes its way around the chart. So does Saturn. So do the nodes. And that's why I say that astrology, it's as important to remember that astrology moves on duality as much as anything. There is always an opposite. That is such a key thing to keep in our life as we choose which kind of energy we are going to connect to. I got the coolest email from one of you yesterday, info@funastrology.com if you'd like to send something. And I think there's a contact form on the webpage as well, but just was saying that she had run a transit of her chart after listening to yesterday's podcast and was just delighted at where the energy of transformation was taking place in her life. I was like, that is so cool, not only to just be conscious of it and to be looking at this, but also to be on the right side of the energy. Because, and that's been my whole message here, is yes, this is big transformational work that's going on. Which side of it are you going to be on? Okay, back to our topic at hand, the week ahead. The sun moves into Scorpio. When does that happen? Wednesday at 1:12. Again, I'm staying on the Eastern clock just so that you can adjust accordingly. Also on Wednesday afternoon, the moon moves into Virgo, and then the sun goes into Scorpio on Sunday, and we get a new moon. So that kind of gives you a little peek at what we're talking about. So what do we have today? Well, we've got the moon in a fire sign, Leo. The other thing that we've been talking about, and just worth noting again, is that Mars is also square with the north and south nodes. So whenever you have a planet that is square the nodes, the characteristics of that planet take on a block form that we get to overcome. So on a micro perspective of just what's happening right now and how that energy could be forming up right now, you could have, let's say, some warrior aggression, anger. Oh, by the way, did you see there was a headline of some rioting in several places? Chile, Barcelona, a couple of other, Portugal, maybe? There you go. Mars to the nodes. And, of course, that forms a T-square because the nodes are always in opposition. So whenever you throw a planet at the axis, or at the bend, as you call it, it creates a natural T-square, with that planet being the focus of the T-square. So it basically just emphasizes that Mars energy. So what do? Suck on an ice cube. I'll have a Dr. Pepper with extra ice, please. Yeah, just chill out. Take that extra breath and count to 5. Now, the good thing is that kite formation that we talked about on Wednesday or Thursday last week, it's still there. So, see, you've got a lot of great support with Venus and the big 3 and Neptune and the nodes. So it's like there's all this spiritual work going on. I heard an earful of it yesterday. It's almost like the whole world. It's like everybody is feeling this. Everybody is dealing with it. And we all have that choice of how we will. And I know that since you're listening to this podcast, you're getting on the right side of it. You're getting on the positive side. You're doing the meditation. You're doing the deep introspective digging. Heard from one of you yesterday. That probably represents dozens or hundreds. So do the work. Do the work. See you tomorrow.